if God asked you to give up something you love? A long time ago, God gave Abraham a son named Isaac. Isaac was very special. Abraham loved him very much. One day, God tested Abraham. "Take your son Isaac," God said, "and go to a mountain I will show you." Abraham did not argue. He did not delay. He obeyed. Early the next morning, Abraham and Isaac began their journey. They walked for 3 days. Isaac noticed something. "Father," he said, "we have the wood and the fire, but where is the lamb?" Abraham answered, "God will provide." When they reached the mountain, Abraham built an altar. He placed the wood on it. He prepared to obey God. But just as he was about to act, an angel called out, "Abraham, do not harm the boy." God had seen Abraham's heart. Abraham trusted God completely. Then Abraham looked up. A ram was caught in a bush. God had provided a sacrifice. Abraham offered the ram instead. Here is the lesson. Abraham trusted God, even when it was hard. He believed God would make a way. Trusting God means believing Him, even when you do not understand. Trust God completely. He will always provide. Would you go somewhere new without knowing where you are going? A long time ago, there was a man named Abraham. He lived with his family in a place he knew well. One day, God spoke to him. "Leave your country, your people, and your father's house." God said, "Go to the land I will show you." God did not tell Abraham where he was going. He only said, "Go." God also made a promise. "I will make you into a great nation. I will bless you. And through you, all people will be blessed." Abraham had a choice: stay where he was comfortable, or follow God into the unknown. Abraham chose to obey. He packed his belongings and took his wife Sarah. He began the journey. Step by step, Abraham followed God. He did not know the full plan, but he trusted the one who gave it. Here is the lesson. Following God is not always easy. Some ate it. Then she gave some to Adam. He ate it too. Right away, something changed. They felt afraid. They tried to hide from God. When God came, He called out, "Where are you?" Adam and Eve came out. They knew they had done wrong. They had disobeyed God. They could no longer stay in the garden. But God still cared for them. Here is the lesson. God's rules are for our good. When we obey God, we are safe. Obey God. He knows what is best. Have you ever wondered what it takes to build something that truly lasts? I'm not just talking about houses, but our lives, our dreams. But some leaders became angry. They did not like what Jesus was saying, so they had him arrested. Jesus was taken before the governor. Even though he had done nothing wrong, the crowd shouted for him to be punished. Jesus was made to carry Some did not understand. While Jesus was on the cross, he did something amazing. He prayed, "Father, forgive them," he said. He showed love even in pain. As time passed, the sky grew dark. The earth became quiet. Then told you that praying was not allowed. Would you stop, or would you keep praying? A long time ago, there was a man named Daniel who loved God very much. Daniel worked for the king. He was honest. He was wise. He worked hard. The king trusted Daniel more than the other leaders. But some of the leaders were jealous. They wanted Daniel to get into trouble. So they made a tricky plan. They convinced the king to make a new law. For 30 days, no one could pray to anyone except the king. If someone disobeyed, they would be thrown into a den of lions. Daniel heard about the law, but he did not stop praying. Every day, Daniel went to his room. He opened his window toward Jerusalem. 3 times a day he prayed and thanked God, just as he always had. The jealous leaders saw him praying. They told the king. Soon Daniel was thrown into the lion's den. But God protected him. The lions did not hurt him. The next morning, the king hurried to the den. "Daniel, did your God save you?" he called. Daniel answered, "My God sent his angel and shut the lions' mouths." Daniel was safe. Here is the lesson. Daniel did not pray only when life was easy. He prayed every day. Praying keeps our hearts close to God. No matter where you are, no matter what is happening, pray always. God told the prophet Samuel to visit the house of Jesse. God had chosen a new king for Israel. Jesse brought his sons to Samuel. The first son was tall and strong. Samuel thought, "This must be the one." But God said something important. "Do not look at his appearance. I look at the heart." One by one, the sons passed in front of Samuel. God did not choose any of them. Samuel asked Jesse, "Do you have another son?" Jesse said, "Yes, the youngest one. He is taking care of the sheep." His name was David. When David came, God told Samuel, "This is the one." Samuel poured oil on David's head. This showed that God had chosen him to be the future king of Israel. David was not the tallest. David was not the oldest. But David loved God, and God saw his heart. God does not choose people because they look strong or important. God looks at what is inside your heart. Have you ever had a best friend who always stood by you? David and Jonathan were best friends. Jonathan was the son of King Saul. David was a young shepherd who trusted God. Even though Jonathan was a prince, he loved David like a brother. They helped each other. They encouraged each other. They trusted God together. One day, King Saul became angry with David. He wanted to harm him. Jonathan knew this was wrong. Even though Saul was his father, Jonathan chose to do what was right. He warned David. He helped him stay safe. Jonathan cared more about doing what pleased God than pleasing people. Before David had to leave, the two friends made a promise. They would always be loyal. They would always care for each other. They were sad to say goodbye, but their friendship remained strong. Here is the lesson. A good friend helps you do what is right. A godly friend points you toward God. Choose friends who help you grow, and be that kind of friend too.
A long time ago, there was a young woman named Esther. Esther became queen of a great kingdom, but there was something many people did not know. Esther was Jewish. One day, a proud and mean man named Haman made a terrible plan. He wanted to harm all the Jewish people. The king signed a law without knowing it would hurt Esther's people. When Esther's cousin Mordecai heard the news, he was very upset. He sent a message to Esther. "You must speak to the king," he said. "You may have become queen for such a time as this." But there was a problem. No one could go to the king without being invited. If someone did, they could be punished. Esther was afraid, but she chose courage. She asked her people to pray and fast for 3 days. Then she said, "I will go to the king." Esther walked into the royal court. The king saw her. He held out his golden scepter. She was safe. Esther invited the king and Haman to a special dinner. At the right moment, she bravely told the king the truth. She told him about Haman's evil plan. The king was shocked. He stopped Haman's plan. Esther's people were saved. Here is the lesson. Esther could have stayed quiet. She could have chosen safety. But she chose bravery. Sometimes doing what is right feels scary. But when you stand up for others, when you speak truth, when you trust God, your courage can change everything. Be brave for what is right.
Have you ever wondered what it truly means to be a good neighbor? Let me share a powerful story that Jesus once told. Picture this. A man is traveling down a dusty road all by himself. Suddenly, he's attacked by robbers. De beat him, hejsen vem for side of the road. He's in agony, desperately needing help. Soon, a priest comes walking by. He sees the wounded man, but what does he do? He crosses to the other side and continues on his way. A little while later, a temple helper, a man who also served in the temple, sees him too. He glances at the man, but also walks away, leaving him there. Then pursues he's a Samaritan. Back in those days, Samaritans and Jews didn't get along. Most people would have expected him to just keep going. But he didn't. He stopped. He saw the injured man and felt a deep sense of compassion. Ik knelt dan, demanded them up. Then he carefully lifted him onto his own donkey and took him to a nearby inn. He didn't just drop him off. He stayed with him, and the next day he paid the innkeeper to continue taking care of the man until he was well. Jesus asked a simple question. Which of these three was a true neighbor to the man who was attacked? The answer was obvious. It wasn't about who they were, but what they did. The true neighbor was the one who showed mercy and kindness. This story teaches us a timeless lesson. Kindness isn't about someone's background, status, or what group they belong to. It's about a choice. The choice to help, to show compassion, and to be there for someone in need. Let's all try to be a good neighbor every single day. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content that inspires.
Sea of Galilee. One sunny day, Jesus was walking by the shore and saw two brothers, Peter and Andrew, hard at work. They were fishermen, casting their big nets into the water, hoping for a great catch. Suddenly, Jesus called out to them with a special invitation. He said, "Come, follow me, and I will show you how to fish for people." What do you think they did? Instantly, they dropped their nets and went with him. A little further down the beach, Jesus saw two more brothers, James and John, in a boat with their father, mending their nets. Jesus called to them too, and they immediately left their boat, their nets, and even their dad to follow him. Isn't it amazing? Jesus chose ordinary fishermen to do extraordinary things. He looks for people with willing hearts. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
One beautiful evening, as the sun began just 5 small loaves of bread and 2 fish. But the boy shared it. He gave his small meal to Jesus. Jesus took it, gave thanks, and started breaking it. The disciples passed it out, and an incredible miracle happened. The food just kept coming. Everyone ate until they were completely full. All 5,000 men, plus women and children. And they even had 12 baskets of leftovers. The lesson: that little boy's lunch seemed insignificant, but when he gave what he had, God used it to do something amazing. Your small gifts, your small acts of